Some movies are made simply to entertain, and then there are movies that completely disrupt the foundations of Hollywood itself. Dirty Harry belongs to the second category. When it was released in 1971, it didn't just reshape the action genre, it ignited controversy, transformed the way police were portrayed on screen, and created a legacy that people are still arguing about more than 50 years later. Yet beneath the iconic stare, the powerful .44 Magnum, and the legendary one-liners exists a turbulent history filled with chaos, near disasters, and hidden truths. From disastrous production challenges to real-world connections that feel almost unsettling in their similarity, this film carries secrets that few people truly know. We're uncovering 25 of those long-buried stories, and it begins here. The first truth is that Clint Eastwood was never the obvious choice. In fact, casting Inspector Harry Callahan became more of a crisis than a casting decision. The role that would later become inseparable from Eastwood's identity was originally intended for someone else. He wasn't even among the studio's top 5 candidates. The first serious choice was Frank Sinatra, who fit the studio's vision perfectly, famous, charismatic, and experienced in darker roles, but a hand injury made it impossible for him to handle the heavy .44 Magnum revolver, forcing him to step away. After that, Warner Brothers rushed through alternatives. John Wayne was offered the part but rejected it because he found the story too harsh. Steve McQueen was next, but he demanded major changes that would have dismantled the script's core. Paul Newman also declined, reportedly uneasy with the film's brutal version of justice. Running out of options, the studio turned to a rising actor known mainly for spaghetti westerns, Clint Eastwood. Unlike the others, he accepted the role without conditions and fought to preserve the script's raw tone. What seemed like a last-minute compromise became one of the most legendary performances in film history, proving that sometimes the most powerful decisions are born from necessity, not planning. The second secret lies in the film's villain. A real-world crime case served as the foundation for the character that would become Scorpio. Only 2 years before filming began, San Francisco had been paralyzed by fear because of a criminal who taunted authorities with letters, codes, and threats. The filmmakers didn't invent this concept. They adapted reality. Scorpio was directly inspired by the Zodiac killer, whose cryptic messages and random violence terrorized California. This resemblance was intentional. Writers Harry Julian and Rita M. Finink drew heavily from police files and newspaper coverage. What makes the connection even more disturbing is that the real case remained unsolved while the movie was being made. The San Francisco Police Department even brought in Inspector Dave Toschi, one of the lead Zodiac investigators, as a technical advisor. Watching a fictional character mirror a criminal he could never catch created a strange mix of pride and discomfort for him. The irony was overwhelming, a movie providing closure that real life never did, while the real criminal may have been watching from somewhere in the shadows. The third truth involves a stunt that nearly ended everything. Some of the most intense moments on screen aren't acting, they're real danger. During the rooftop chase sequence, Clint Eastwood refused to use a stunt double in order to keep the scene authentic. The chase required him to leap between aging rooftops weakened by time and weather. Despite warnings from the stunt team, he went through with it. Mid-jump, the surface collapsed beneath him, sending him falling more than 12 feet through wood and metal before crashing onto concrete. He was knocked unconscious, left bleeding from the forehead with a dislocated shoulder. The crew wanted him rushed to the hospital, but instead, Eastwood wiped the blood away and ordered filming to continue. The blood visible on his face in the final scene wasn't makeup, it was real. That moment added an intensity to the scene that audiences never realized came from real injury. Off camera, it was nearly fatal. On screen, it became cinematic history. The fourth secret is that one of cinema's most famous lines was never written. During the bank robbery scene, the script originally contained a long speech, but Eastwood felt it slowed the moment down. He asked director Don Siegel if he could try something shorter and more direct. What followed was pure instinct. You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? The delivery shocked the set. It was sharp, raw, and instantly unforgettable. Even the actor playing the robber reportedly broke character after the take. That improvised line went on to define the Dirty Harry franchise, shape Callahan's personality, and set a new standard for tough guy dialogue in action cinema. A spontaneous decision created one of the most iconic lines in film history. The fifth truth reveals how law enforcement turned against the film. At first, the San Francisco Police Department supported the production, providing access, advisors, and uniformed officers as extras. But once they read the full script, that support collapsed. Officers were disturbed by Harry Callahan's disregard for procedure and aggressive use of force, believing the film portrayed policing in a dangerously distorted way. Within 3 weeks of filming, more than 24 officers walked off the production in protest. The police union publicly criticized the movie for promoting a harmful image of law enforcement. Without official support, the filmmakers had to replace officers with private security and actors. Ironically, the controversy only increased public interest and strengthened the film's mystique, helping turn Dirty Harry into a cultural phenomenon. The sixth secret centers on the weapon itself. Before 1971, the .44 Magnum revolver was largely unknown to the public and primarily used for big game hunting. After the film's release, it became a symbol of power and toughness. Demand exploded nationwide, with gun stores facing long waiting lists and Smith & Wesson struggling to keep production up. But the popularity had dark consequences. Police departments reported increases in crimes involving the weapon, and some criminals openly cited Dirty Harry as their inspiration. Concerned by the trend, Smith & Wesson restricted distribution. The film industry began debating the ethics of glamorizing specific weapons. The .44 Magnum was no longer just a prop. It had become part of a national conversation. The seventh truth involves one of the most dangerous stunt sequences in action cinema. The scene where Harry leaps onto a hijacked school bus appears smooth and simple on screen, but it was actually performed by 3 different stuntmen. One jumped from a bridge onto a moving semi-truck, another transitioned from the truck to the bus roof, and a third completed the final landing. Every movement required perfect precision. Filmed in real traffic conditions with no digital effects, the risk was extreme. One stuntman broke ribs, another suffered a concussion, yet filming continued. Medics were on standby, and even they admitted the margin for error was terrifyingly small. In an era before CGI and modern safety systems, the sequence became a masterclass in physical filmmaking. The eighth secret reveals that Harry Callahan was built from real people. Instead of inventing a fictional detective, the filmmakers studied real San Francisco officers. The character was created by blending the personalities, methods, and attitudes of 3 real inspectors. By drawing directly from real-world law enforcement, they created a character that felt authentic, grounded, and disturbingly real, a figure shaped by the streets he walked and the world he policed.